Go ahead, Coach.
Can you guys hear me? Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. First of all, I mean, just great to be back out on the field. Again, since our game at Wake Forest, being able to come back out and practice, we have several newcomers out. 13 scholarship players that we brought in midterm that are all really good people. Number one, but number two, I'm going to be really good players for us as well. So it's evident and see that in practice. I think back out here, we got some new coaches that are out now. We've announced some of those guys and excited for those guys to join us here with Darrell Sims and Pete Thomas and then Coach Bignell, who's kind of the old man of the bunch, but a great guy and a great coach and brings a ton of experience. So kind of hit the ground running today because he hadn't been here very long. And but no, it was very spirited practice and a lot of good work, really, because just being in helmets. And, so we're glad to be back out on the field for that. And then, like I said, all those newcomers, it was fun to see them fly around today. And then, we've had a real productive 4 weeks since we got back here after Christmas. The things that we've been doing back in the weight room and watching these guys run around a little bit. Great attitudes, great effort, the things that we talk about all the time. And, the chemistry and the cohesiveness from this bunch is very evident, and you can tell, really throughout the building. When you ask anybody, as far as in the strength staff or the equipment room or the training room, it's just we have a really good air about everybody, I think, in this building right now. So that makes it fun. It's fun to come to work and fun to work with these guys. So today was the same thing that we've been dealing with as far as that goes. I mean, just great attitudes and. Just another good day today to start our spring season for us, this early. So it's been great.
Cam, you got questions for Coach?
Yeah. Scott Cameron with the Courier Journal.
Hold on a second, Cameron.
Okay.
I don't know. It's all the way up. You turn yours up.
Try that. Go ahead, Cameron.
Okay. Yeah, Coach, two things for you. One, I guess a lot of coaching changes for you all this offseason. Is this the most you've had since you were head coach? And then two, as you tried to fill those positions, what do you feel like you were looking for in those assistants?
I don't know if it's the most I've had to hire. It's not something I keep track of, really, quite honestly, over the years. The one thing I've always said is that, we always want to continue to build coaches and to elevate coaches. And I think that's healthy in any kind of program. We had 3 guys that left coordinator positions and then 1 left for an NFL position. I think in all instances, these guys, got promotions, got elevated into something that they obviously wanted to do. And, so I think in some ways it can be healthy for a program. You're bringing in new blood, new ideas and those type of things. I mean, the thing that I look for when I'm always hiring coaches is number one is fit. Good people. I want to bring in this building, somebody that's going to bring the same kind of integrity that we have in the building, and the same kind of heart and desire, and to want to continue to improve and to get better. And so, I think we did that. Pete has been with me for a while now, and kind of been groomed really for this position that he's in now. The last 2 years, been working with our offensive line. I mean, he's got a great understanding, maybe as good an understanding as anybody on our offensive staff about our whole offense, and it brings a lot to the table in that regard. Darrell Sims, the guy I've been following his career for quite some time now, and know how he works, what he brings to the table as well. Really think a lot of him as a person, but I also think he's an excellent coach and how he teaches. And obviously, Big Bill, we talking about an offensive line hire. To me, that's one of the more important hires on offense. You got 5 guys that are coaching in front. And so I wanted to get a more experienced guy with that. And obviously, he brings a wealth of experience, having won a Super Bowl with the Giants in the last 4 years coaching the SEC. So, I mean, he's used to recruiting at a high level and also, coaching at a high level as well. And, so that's kind of what we're looking for in bringing these guys in. Every year we've had to hire guys. Sometimes it's, at a GA or QC or, a recruiting position, all those type things. I mean, really, I'm looking for the same thing. I'm looking for fit, number one, for bringing in great people that's going to fit with our staff, mesh well, and then bring their football knowledge that they have as well with them.
Coach, hey, it's Jody from Cardinal Authority. Two questions. First of all, did you, because of the craziness of all the testing in the season, how put so much stress on the guys, did you ever think about moving back a little bit spring because of that, or is it better to get spring? Is that another reason better to go ahead and do spring, earlier like you normally do? And second thing, I assume you probably have a few guys that are not participating this spring because of injuries or things like that. Is anybody significant?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's obviously pros and cons to starting early or starting later. I mean, you can look at it both ways. We've had really good success going early. I like it. You're coming off the heels of your last game, and the guys ready to work. I mean, the guys they're in the building right now. They're it's actually probably good for us because there's not a whole lot else going on besides school and football for these young people. And there's really not. I mean, so in order for them to be here and to start meetings and to start practice, I think it's a good thing. I also think if they do have an injury early in spring, you have time to get that fixed and be back for the summertime and ready for the season. We also like what we can get on the back half of spring with the training that we can get in the weight room and try to add that muscle and that type of thing. Now, there are some guys that in the season surgery that are maybe a little bit limited right now as we come back through, like Marshawn Ford's one. Got his shoulder repaired, but he's back out. I mean, he's just not practicing. So he's doing a few things, and so he's limited in that regard. I think so. So some of those guys like him are not able to go forward, but they're out there. They're doing a lot of good things. Robbie Bell's another guy that's out there, but not really participating right now. And CJ Avery's another guy that's out there. I mean, so some of these guys are helping us coach, which I love. I love that too. And they're able to get in there and do what they can do, depending on what their injury is. So, I think for the most part, besides those guys we mentioned, Berkeley's another one that's out right now, but he's out and starting to get better and better. So, but yeah, I think even with some of those guys, if we had you pushed it back another few weeks, you still probably wouldn't be able to go full anyway. So I think we're in pretty good shape as far as that goes. So, I think for us, it's just the philosophy of the program to go early and knock it out. And then because we still at the end of the spring, we still have a lot of opportunity to get with our guys and continue to develop. So,
Fred, you got anything?
Hi, Coach. What are some of your goals for the spring? What would you like to see between now and March 13th and beyond?
Yeah, obviously to continue to develop our older guys, but I think also the big goals are to really develop the young guys that are here now. I mentioned those 13 that came in January, to really throw them into the fire, and they're going to make some mistakes. We all know that, and really just try to get them coached up. And I really, want them to get as many reps as they can get. It's kind of like as we talked about CJ Avery. CJ Avery probably can go at linebacker, but we already know what CJ can do. I mean, we need to get those young guys in there, and KJ Cloyd and Dorian Jones. I mean, get some of these young guys at linebacker and let them get reps. And and the other spot is at safety. We got a lot of young players at safety. We want to get those guys and get a ton of reps for those guys at that position. I think that's probably one of the main goals. The other thing one of the things obviously that hindered us last year from the wins and losses aspect was the turnovers. And so that's kind of a huge aspect during spring. Both sides of the ball, creating turnovers by the defense and then taking care of the football offensively. And so those are the things we emphasize every day in meetings and every day in practice. I mean, we got some new drills that we're introducing this year. Just trying to really put a big emphasis on that. And because we all know, I mean, that was a huge part of our season last year. We obviously got to get a lot better at that.
Kent, you got anything?
Coach, are you going to hire an offense? I mean, well, I guess you have a full staff. So what are you going to do about an offensive coordinator? Is that just you taking on more of a role, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've done in the past is how ever since I've been calling plays, really going back a long ways. But even since I've been a head coach, we've had years where we didn't have a coordinator. We've had years where we've had a coordinator. I've had co-coordinators. But I think at the end of the day, we just define roles, and that's what we've done within our offensive staff. We all have defined roles. I'm calling the plays, but everybody's got a ton of input in what we do. We're all involved heavily, and it's just the way we meet with our guys. Really, there's nothing changing between what we did last year and this year in that regard. So I'm kind of overseeing the offense as well as the whole program, but our guys have different roles within that. Coach Brew's got a huge role in the pass game along with Pete Thomas. As you start looking at the run game, Darrell and Bignell, which are new guys. So they're still kind of learning it. And Stu's been around a long time, and so he's got great input in both run and pass, obviously coaching the tight end. So the way we work it, man, we just got a great working relationship within our staff. We still script and practice. Everybody has certain aspects they script and practice. So it's just a great working relationship, and we're obviously trying to get the best plays into our system. But at the end of the day, I'm calling the plays, during games. So really nothing has changed with that.
Michael, you got anything, McCammon?
Hey, Coach. Michael McCammon, Cardinal Authority. Obviously lost a number of key guys offensively. When you look at the receivers, your top two guys are gone, and Tutu and Dez. What are you hoping this spring does to help try to fill those voids?
Yeah, they're certainly not going to be able to replace those guys when you talk about, Tutu Atwell and Fitzpatrick and Hawkins for that matter. All three of those guys, they'll all be playing at the next level next year. So it's, virtually impossible to replace them. But so we've got some good young talent, some good young receivers. You work through all these practices right now, and you try and develop them as fast as you possibly can and see who's going to be the guys that go out and make plays. We think we got a good young nucleus there at the wide receiver position. Probably not anybody like a Tutu that can just knock the top off of things, and as fast as he is. But we'll see. We'll see how those guys come around. We're going to try to find the best spots for those guys. Are they going to play inside the slot? Are they going to play outside? How are we going to get the ball to them? How can we get them free and loose within coverages? And I think, we'll see how that goes throughout spring practice. We'll see. I think at the running back position, we obviously got some guys I think that can come in. Mitchell had a great day today. Kind of picked up where he left off against Wake Forest. He had a couple of big, nice runs out there today. So I think he's a big, strong back that's going to get better and better, as we move along with this. So we'll see. Like I said, it's young guys. You got to somebody's going to have to rise up and be the next, Fitzpatrick and be the next Atwell. Those kind of guys. That's kind of what we're looking for right now. I think Huggins was another guy, young freshman that just came in January. Man, he's got extreme quickness. He showed some of that today as well. Shy Works was another guy. He made a big play down the middle of the field today. So we got some guys. So those guys are learning. So it'll be a work in progress.
Anything from WDRB?
Yeah, Coach, you touched on it there a little bit earlier. What the advantages of going this early? You said that the guys are ready to work. Did you see that today?
Yeah. Yeah, I think again, I mentioned there's pros and cons to it. But I do think by going early, we've had enough time these 4 weeks right here to get their bodies back geared up, ready to go, and they've done that. So I just think when we've been here now 2 years, these guys have a good sense and a feel for what we want, and how we want to practice and what we're doing scheme wise, and you're able to jump right into it and get going with it. It's going to be 5 weeks here, so we kind of spread it out over 5 weeks. We usually have done it in 4, so now we're going to do it in 5. So you kind of spacing it out. Again, I mentioned the fact of injuries. If you do have injuries in spring practice, you're able to have surgeries and even get back by spring. I think the biggest thing for us, though, is going early, getting these practices in, finding out what you got to get better at. You have the second half of the semester where we're able still to continue to work with them, albeit not practicing, not with a ball, but you can go out and still do some fundamental work They also can get stronger in the weight room, and any kind of technique they need to get better at, we're able to really hone in on that on the back half of the semester. They go home in May for about 3.5 weeks, and then they're going to come back, and then they're going to have the whole summer for 2 months. So essentially, we're looking at about 3.5 months there, 4 months, to where they're getting stronger, working on skill development on the back half of it, as opposed to, a lot of programs, they'll go first half of the semester where they're trying to build strength and all that. I feel like you lose a lot of that those 5 weeks you go spring practice. If I gained a bunch of strength and muscle in those first 2 months, sometimes it goes away for 5 weeks of practice because you're not lifting as much during spring practice. So I don't know. That's what we found over the last few years, and we think it's pretty good formula for success as you head into the summer.
Last one for Cameron. You got one more?
Yeah, Coach. You mentioned Jalen Mitchell. I personally, I feel like you have a pretty deep running back room, maybe 4 or 5 guys that could play. What do you see from that group, and how do you feel like they're adjusting to Coach Sims so early?
Yeah, I think they've adjusted well, over the last few weeks here with him. And today they had some nice big runs. Like I said, Mitchell had some great stuff. I think Hassan Hall had some nice looks at it today. Aiden Robbins did as well, and really, as you look at that, kind of some good size backs, and you put a Hall in there, so a good speed back. I think we do have some good depth there. I think, and a good young player that just got here as well. So, those guys over time, as you start looking at practice, because right now we're kind of staying up, we're not tackling. I mean, obviously a big part of running backs is breaking tackles and running through those tackles. I do think that's a strength of our running back room, though. I do think they're able to run through tackles. They're big, strong backs that have decent speed. So, particularly with Hall, but so as we move through this, I feel good about the running back room. I really do. Now there's not anybody like Hawkins. It's 185-pound, just scat back that can fly like that. But I think what our guys bring to the table, they do present problems to defenses, and I feel good about it. I feel good about that room. We'll see how it goes as we continue through spring. But they've adjusted well with Coach Sims, and looking forward to you guys, spending a little bit of time with him. He brings a lot of energy to that room.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for tonight.
All right.
I'll
Thanks,
see you guys
guys.
on Wednesday.